Imagine two people sitting across from each other at a candlelit dinner. She notices how he listens intently when she speaks. He's thinking about whether she likes the restaurant he chose. She values the way he remembers details about her life. He's wondering if his jokes are landing. In this moment, they're experiencing the exact same interaction, yet processing it through entirely different lenses. What if I told you that according to one of psychology's most influential relationship theorists, women and men often fall in love for fundamentally different reasons, and that these differences create invisible barriers to understanding each other that can make or break relationships before they even begin? Today we're exploring the fascinating science behind how women fall in love and the critical signals that men frequently miss. Drawing on Robert Sternberg's groundbreaking theories of love and intelligence, we'll uncover the psychological patterns that explain why two people can experience the same relationship in dramatically different ways. I'm Chris, and this is Real Talk Family. Let's dive into the hidden psychology that shapes our most important connections. Robert Sternberg, former president of the American Psychological Association and one of the world's leading experts on love and intelligence, revolutionized our understanding of relationships with his triangular theory of love. To truly understand the differences in how women and men fall in love, we first need to understand Sternberg's framework. According to Sternberg, love isn't a single emotion, but rather a complex combination of three core components. 1. Intimacy, the emotional connection, the feeling of closeness, bonding and attachment. 2. Passion, the drive that leads to romance, physical attraction, and sexual fulfillment. 3. Commitment, the decision to maintain love, the dedication to a person and the relationship. These three components combine in different ways to create 7 types of love. 1. Liking, friendship, intimacy alone. 2. Infatuation, passion alone. 3. Empty love, commitment alone. 4. Romantic love, intimacy plus passion. 5. Companionate love, intimacy plus commitment. 6. Fatuous love, passion plus commitment. 7. Consummate love, intimacy plus passion plus commitment. What's fascinating about this model is that it helps explain why relationships feel so different to different people. Two partners can be experiencing entirely different types of love within the same relationship. This brings us to our central question: do women and men prioritize different components of love? The research suggests they often do, and these differences create the invisible dynamics that can make relationships confusing and challenging. Research consistently shows that women typically place greater initial importance on the intimacy component of Sternberg's triangle. This doesn't mean passion and commitment aren't important. They absolutely are, but the foundation of emotional connection often serves as the gateway to deeper romantic feelings for many women. What exactly does intimacy look like in Sternberg's model? It encompasses emotional sharing and vulnerability, mutual understanding and empathy, open, honest communication, feeling truly seen and validated, trust and emotional safety, the sense of having a genuine connection. When women report falling in love, they frequently describe moments of feeling deeply understood, instances where a partner demonstrated genuine care through listening, remembering important details, or showing emotional attunement. These seemingly small moments create a powerful foundation of intimacy that opens the door to deeper romantic feelings. Consider this example. In one study examining relationship formation, women consistently rated good listening skills and emotional expressiveness as significantly more important in initial attraction than men did. Men, meanwhile, rated physical attributes and activity-based compatibility higher. This fundamental difference creates an intriguing paradox. The very behaviors that many women consider signs of growing love, deep conversations, emotional attunement, vulnerability, may not register as romantic signals to many men who might be focused on different dimensions of the relationship. While individual differences always exist, research suggests that men often emphasize different aspects of Sternberg's triangle in the early stages of relationship formation. Men typically enter the love equation through either passion, The element of physical attraction, desire, and romantic excitement. Commitment, often manifested as pursuit, determination, and loyalty. This creates a fundamental disconnect. While women are noticing and valuing signs of growing intimacy, men may be demonstrating love through planning impressive dates, commitment to pursuit, physical affection and desire, passion, problem solving, and practical support, commitment to care, consistency and reliability, commitment to the relationship. These expressions of care are meaningful and valid, but they don't always translate across the intimacy divide. A man might show love by fixing something broken or planning a special outing, while his partner is waiting for emotional vulnerability or deeper conversation. One telling research finding comes from studies on relationship satisfaction. When asked what behaviors made them feel most loved, women consistently ranked self-disclosure and emotional expressiveness higher than men did. Men, meanwhile, rated shared activities and physical affection higher. This doesn't mean men don't value or need intimacy. They absolutely do. But the pathways to developing it, recognizing it, and expressing it often differ in ways that create relationship blind spots. To understand these differences more deeply, we need to incorporate another of Sternberg's groundbreaking frameworks, his triarchic theory of intelligence. Sternberg proposed that intelligence consists of three aspects. 1. Analytical intelligence, problem-solving abilities and logical reasoning. 2. Creative intelligence, the ability to formulate new ideas and connect seemingly unrelated concepts. 3. Practical intelligence, the capacity to adapt to environments and apply knowledge in real-world situations. Sternberg later expanded this work with his concept of successful intelligence, which emphasizes that different types of intelligence are valued differently across contexts and cultures. This connects powerfully to relationships because it helps explain why women and men might literally be processing the same relationship data differently. Research in cognitive psychology suggests that women often demonstrate higher sensitivity to emotional data and relationship patterns, a form of analytical intelligence applied to relationship. Men often focus more on practical problem-solving and tangible relationship outcomes. Practical intelligence in relationships. These differences aren't inherently good or bad. They're simply different cognitive approaches to the same fundamental human need for connection. Here's where the disconnect happens. Women may be picking up on subtle emotional signals that men aren't cognitively primed to notice, while men may be demonstrating care in practical ways that don't register as intimacy to their partners. Let's get specific about the intimacy signals that women often notice. The very behaviors that research suggests may open the door to deeper romantic feelings for many women. 1. Active listening. When someone not only hears words but responds in ways that demonstrate true understanding, it creates a powerful feeling of being valued. Many women report that feeling truly heard is one of the first steps toward falling in love. 2. Emotional reciprocity. The mutual exchange of feelings and vulnerability creates intimacy. When someone shares something personal and is met with vulnerability in return, it deepens connection. Many women are highly attuned to this reciprocity or its absence. 3. Remembering details. Recalling important information about someone's life, preferences, or stories communicates, "You matter to me." This demonstrates the kind of attentiveness that builds emotional connection. 4. Non-sexual touch. Affectionate touch that isn't sexually motivated, a hand on the shoulder, a reassuring hug, sitting close together, creates physical intimacy that supports emotional closeness. 5. Consistent communication. Regular, meaningful communication demonstrates investment in the relationship. This isn't about frequency alone, but about quality, showing interest in the other person's world. 6. Empathetic responses. Responding to emotions with understanding rather than solutions shows emotional intelligence. Many women value partners who can sit with feelings before jumping to fix problems. 7. Vulnerability. Showing authentic emotions and insecurities creates trust. When someone reveals their true self, it invites deeper connection. Research consistently shows that women rate these behaviors as significantly more important in developing romantic feelings than men do. In one study, women were twice as likely as men to mention emotional understanding as a key factor in falling in love. What's fascinating is that these behaviors create the foundation of intimacy in Sternberg's model, the very component that many women prioritize in the early stages of love. Yet these same behaviors might not register as significant to men, who may be focusing on different signals entirely. While individual differences always exist, research suggests that men often demonstrate love through 1. Planning and doing, creating experiences and solving problems as expressions of care. This reflects the commitment component of love through action. 2. Consistent presence, being reliable and showing up consistently, a form of commitment that demonstrates loyalty through behavior rather than words. 3. Physical affection, expressing feelings through touch and physical closeness, reflecting the passion component of Sternberg's model. 4. Protective behaviors, looking out for a partner's well-being and safety, a manifestation of commitment that shows investment in the other person's welfare. 5. Material support, providing practical help and resources, a way of demonstrating commitment through tangible support. 6. Pursuit and persistence, actively pursuing the relationship and working to maintain it, showing commitment through determination. These behaviors aren't superficial or less meaningful than intimacy-building behaviors. They reflect genuine care and investment. The challenge is that they don't always translate across the intimacy-commitment divide, creating potential misunderstandings. In one revealing study, men were significantly more likely than women to interpret practical support as demonstrations of love. Women, meanwhile, were more likely to interpret emotional openness and vulnerable conversation as signs of deepening feelings. This creates a fascinating relationship paradox. Each person may be demonstrating love in ways that don't register as love to their partner. While social conditioning plays a significant role in these differences, neuroscience research suggests there may also be some biological foundations to these different approaches to love. Brain imaging studies have found women typically show more activity in regions associated with memory for emotional experiences and emotional processing when thinking about relationships. Men often show more activity in visual processing regions and areas associated with sexual motivation. Hormonal differences also influence relationship behaviors. Oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, appears to affect women more strongly in relationship contexts. Testosterone, generally higher in men, is associated with competitive behavior and sexual interest. However, it's crucial to understand that these biological differences are just averages with significant overlap between individuals. They create tendencies, not deterministic outcome. Individual personality, upbringing, and experiences play equally important roles in shaping how we give and receive love. The most important takeaway isn't that women and men are fundamentally different, but rather that understanding these potential differences can help us bridge communication gaps and build stronger connections. So how do we bridge these differences? How can men become more attuned to the intimacy signals that many women value? And how can women recognize the commitment and passion signals that many men use to express love? For men seeking to connect more deeply with women, consider practicing emotional presence. Make space for conversations about feelings, not just events and activities. Ask questions about emotional experiences, not just facts. 2. Developing active listening skills. Focus fully on what she's saying rather than formulating responses. Reflect back what you hear to confirm understanding. 3. Sharing vulnerabilities gradually. Create emotional reciprocity by revealing your own thoughts, feelings, and experiences beyond surface-level topics. 4. Noticing emotional patterns. Pay attention to what situations consistently trigger positive or negative emotions for your partner. 5. Expressing appreciation specifically. Move beyond general compliments to specific observations about qualities and behaviors you value. For women seeking to connect with men, 1. Recognize different expression styles. Understand that problem-solving, consistency, and practical support may be how some men express care and commitment. 2. Appreciate action-based love. Notice and acknowledge when a partner shows love through reliability, protection, or creating experiences. 3. Communicate needs directly. Clearly express what builds connection for you, rather than expecting partners to intuitively know. 4. Balance emotional and activity connection. Create opportunities for both deep conversation and shared activities that build bonds through doing. The goal isn't to reinforce stereotypes, but to expand our capacity to recognize and respond to different love languages. By understanding Sternberg's framework, we can appreciate that each person may emphasize different components of love, especially in the early stages of relationship formation. It's important to acknowledge that these patterns are not static. Significant cultural and generational shifts are occurring. Younger generations of men report higher emotional intelligence and value intimacy more highly than previous generations. Cultural expectations around gender and relationships are evolving rapidly. Individual differences often outweigh gender-based tendencies. Recent research suggests that while some general patterns persist, the gap in emotional expression and intimacy values between women and men is narrowing. This reflects broader social changes and the gradual dismantling of restrictive gender norms. Sternberg's work remains valuable, not because it reinforces differences, but because it gives us a framework to understand how love's components, intimacy, passion, and commitment, may be weighted differently by different individuals, allowing us to bridge those differences with understanding and communication. Robert Sternberg's ultimate insight is that the healthiest, most fulfilling relationships, what he calls consummate love, integrate all three components: intimacy, passion, and commitment. The goal isn't to remain fixed in our preferences, but to develop our capacity to both give and receive love in multiple dimensions. When women and men can recognize and appreciate each other's natural tendencies while also stretching to meet in the middle, relationships flourish. The woman who values deep conversation can learn to appreciate practical support as an expression of love. The man who demonstrates care through action can develop the emotional vocabulary to share his inner world. Understanding these differences isn't about accepting limitations, but about creating bridges. By recognizing that the person across from you may be experiencing the same relationship through a different lens, you gain the power to connect in more meaningful ways. Remember Sternberg's wisdom: love is not something that happens to us. It's something we co-create through understanding, effort, and the willingness to see through another's eyes. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of how women and men experience the journey to love differently. If you found this valuable, please subscribe to Real Talk Family for more insights into the psychology of relationship. Until next time, I'm Chris, wishing you connection, understanding, and love.